Hey, it's Kyle here, and today I'll be reviewing Star Wars Reign of the Empire, The Mask of Fear by Alexander Freed. This is the first book in the Reign of the Empire trilogy, just recently published, so the other books are not out yet. Really enjoyed this book a lot. I'm not sure if this book is for everybody. I think a certain section of Star Wars fans will really love this a lot. And I think the easiest way I can kind of say is do I think you'll enjoy this book is if you're a fan of Andor. Are you a fan of Rogue One? If you're a fan of those, I think this is a Star Wars book you'll enjoy. If you watched Andor, if you watched Rogue One, and you're like, this isn't really for me, this is a little too dark, not quite as fun as I like, I'd like a little bit more fantasy in my Star Wars, I'm not sure if this is the book for you. For me, I really enjoyed it because I absolutely love Rogue One. Andor is absolutely amazing. So this is very much something I'm interested in. I think this kind of also appeals to the side of my brain that is into political science, which is my degree in college, but also really like stuff like spy thrillers and darker stories sometimes. And Reign of the Empire, it looks like this trilogy is very much going to be like Andor, but in a book trilogy, and I'm very excited about it. Mask of Fear basically starts off within a couple weeks of the Empire being declared. We're in the very early stages, and this book, and it looks like the trilogy in the whole, is going to focus on three people: Mon Mothma, Bail Organa, and Saw Gerrera. And basically how these three individuals come to grips with the Emperor and different ways they approach of trying to resist him. Mon Mothma in this book is very much still focused on the political side of things. She thinks she can come up with a bill that will basically strip away a lot of the Emperor's powers, make him more of a figurehead, and kind of, even though it'll still be the Empire, in all reality, it'll be ruled by the Senate and actually more of like a republic than an empire. She basically thinks she can still beat the Emperor by political means. Bail Organa, on the other side, thinks he can bring public opinion to his side and basically overthrow the Emperor that way, mainly by revealing the truth of what actually happened to the Jedi, and that they were not trying to overthrow the Emperor. They were not this big evil force. And he believes once the galactic population understands this, that they will quickly demand that the Emperor resign and overthrow him, and the Republic will be restored, and justice will be had for the Jedi. Not surprisingly, Saw Gerrera is more like, no, it's fighting time. This empire is no different from the various other groups I've been fighting against for freedom, for my planet, for my people. Nothing's changed. I'm going to continue to fight. I'm going to continue to try to find now new allies, new soldiers, new supplies to continue this fight against the Emperor. And basically, if you're not willing to fight and kill with me, then you're really siding with the Emperor. There's no time for political solutions to this. There's no time for a PR campaign. This needs to be all-out war against the Emperor. Either you're with me or you're against me. Very much how we always see Saw through all the events we've seen him depicted in Star Wars. What I really enjoyed about this book a lot is specifically is the interaction between Mon and Bail Organa, and basically how they're semi-allies, but they completely disagree with each other, and they basically admit they don't really like each other. They just happen to be allies, but they're a complete disagreement on how things should proceed. Mon cannot understand why Bail thinks people will really care if the truth are revealed about the Jedi. And she very much acknowledges, this was a tragedy, this is awful, but if this news gets out, it's not going to change anything. But Bail is completely convinced, no, you're wrong. Once people find out what the Jedi were actually doing, how they were framed, that will bring the Empire down. Bail, on the other hand, completely disagrees with Mon and is like, we've been trying to fight the Emperor in the Senate for the entire length of the Clone Wars when he was Chancellor, slowly gathering more power, and he kept on winning. There's no hope to beat him in the realm of politics. That is over. We have to really take the fight to him via the regular citizens. The Senate's time to resist the Empire is over. And Mon completely disagrees. She thinks she can still beat the Emperor by crafting a bill and just beating him politically. It's very interesting to see how these two individuals basically acknowledge, we're kind of on the same side. We can kind of be allies, but we don't really like each other. It is very fascinating. And a few times they reference that really the person who was able to kind of bridge that gap was Padme, and they both reflect on how much they miss Padme and they wish Padme was here, because if she was here, she'd probably be able to bring these two individuals together and they'd be able to work together much more effectively to resist the Empire. So it very much made you heartbroken that Padme obviously is not there. This book is all about politics, all about spycraft, all about guerrilla warfare. Very interesting. I really enjoyed this aspect of the book where we get an in-depth look at the Separatists and how they are feeling now that they're being brought in the Empire, and basically we've been fighting for years and years against this republic, and we were telling you that we were being oppressed, and now that it's called an empire, y'all are wanting our help to oppose this emperor. We've been fighting for decades. We can't do this anymore. Where were you when we were telling you that we were being oppressed? So getting this viewpoint of the Separatists was very fascinating, and I really enjoyed it a lot. I don't really want to get into the specifics of the plot, how this general debate plays out, and the actions that kind of lead Mon, Bell, and Saw to come more in conflict with the Empire. But like I said, I think if you enjoyed Rogue One, if you enjoyed Andor, this is a book that you'll really love a lot. If you're more into books that focus more on Jedi and the Force and the fantasy, I'm not sure if this is a series really for you. But I'd encourage you maybe check out the first book, see what you're thinking. But in reality, I think if you're more on the fantasy side of Star Wars, I'm not sure if you'll really enjoy this book or not. But anyway, that's my review of The Mask of Fear. Let me know in the comment section below if you've read this book. What did you think about it, and how did you enjoy Mon and Bell's interactions? Because to me, that was the highlight of the book. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit the like button. If you haven't, please subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate support. Thanks for watching. I'll see you the next time, and may the Force be with you.